Welcome back to the Acoustic Shoppe channel. I am Jeremy and this is John, and we're here to talk about a mandolin today.
We are! I like
pretty
mandolins.
excited about that.
Yeah.
So we're going to be talking about this Eastman MD515 varnish, or antique varnish.
Yeah.
Can't wait. All right, guys, so today we were talking about the Eastman MD515 varnish. We have done some varnish MD515s in the past,
yeah,
but it was more the amber version.
There was an amber version of it for a while, and they've, I think, since discontinued the amber,
so
decided that they're going to stick with this.
Some of the history of Eastman, before we get deep into this, we do, if it's your first time to the channel, make sure you subscribe to it. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, be sure to like it and share it with friends and family and acquaintances. That really helps.
Yeah, anybody. Really, if you're walking on the street, just go, hey, have you seen the Acoustic Shoppe channel? You should.
And there's a secret handshake. It goes like this. If you come up with that. Anyway, also leave some comments down below what you think of it. We're big fans of Eastman. We have a tone sample at the very end of this video, so you can skip all the specs and talking about it if that's what you're here for. We also have a full version of the letter etched in black.
Edged
in black. Edged.
I don't know if you know this. This was our grandfather's favorite song of all time.
Our dad used to sing it too because of that.
Yep.
It's a sad, tragic
tune, I
guess.
Really.
If you got one of those letters edged in black, it was bad news inside of it.
Thing to see. So there you go.
Anyway, we have that whole instrumental version of that. If you want to check that out, also it's in the description down below. But we're going to talk about this. We've talked about Eastman before quite often. Obviously, we are the #1 Eastman dealer in the world.
What?
For mandolins and guitars.
We are,
which is very exciting, very cool. But we have done a review on the 515 varnish. But they have a new version of it. Eastman kind of went through stages of working on their varnish. They were already super excellent at it with violins and stringed instruments because they have a great string department. That's where Eastman is one of the biggest in the world.
That's where they started.
Band and orchestra.
Yeah.
And they have a team over there that, it turns out in classical music, most really serious musicians don't want an instrument that looks brand new and shiny because it's kind of, it looks like a cheaper instrument, I guess, if it's got a shiny finish.
Yeah.
Kind of unlike guitar world, but they've perfected kind of this worn look. They have they antique it a little bit.
It is truly a violin varnish. This is a hand rub varnish that does have the wear and tear, the very character that makes it what it is in the violin world. And here's what they discovered.
So that's what I was getting to there.
They discovered it sounds cool on other instruments.
Exactly. They had tried a few. I even got one of their early attempts at a varnish that didn't do so well. So it had, and it was kind of given to me as a sample. It kind of cracked and split. It was just they're a different team trying to do the varnish. And I said, you know, why are we doing this? Let's have our violin department that does all this and has been doing it for years, do our guitars and mandolins, and they really have perfected it. They learned where the kind of wear marks are on them, so it looks, got a little belt buckle rash on the back, some arm wear there, some pick scratches, but it's not overdone. But the main thing is the varnish is really well applied. It looks beautiful. It lasts a lot better than, like I said, that first attempt. And we've discussed the varnish on some of these instruments really gives it a nice open tone.
It is a
and
tone.
mandolins have been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
Some of the early Gibsons were varnish.
Varnish was an early run before lacquer. It was a more protective finish than some of the early shellacks and other things and oils and all that kind of stuff. But varnish has been around. The problem with it is a little more susceptible to heat issues, as well as you cannot buff it out without doing some other works like French polishing with a lacquer or other things like that. That said, violins, it sounds best for that. It has its own unique character. It protects, and it sounds really good.
And it has a very unique look to it. It's shiny but not glossy, I
Yeah.
guess what I would say, or glossy but not shiny, something like that. It has this real sheen to it, but you can tell there's a different type of application to it, which I'm actually a pretty big fan of. And like I said, my 815 that I have is a varnish, but not the kind of the antique version they're doing now. So Eastman is now pretty much all of their varnishes are going to be this antiqued varnish by their violin department, correct?
I believe so. And they're also, that other one video we did was on the amber. They have, I think, discontinued that color. So this is the standard varnish that they say. You'll see this on a lot of their violins as well. This is the color you'll see on the E10 SS varnish. And there's going to be some new versions of the varnish, but it's still within that same boundaries.
And the 515 also comes in the Comfort Contour, which uses, what do they call that? The something...
it was a vintage nitro.
Vintage nitro, so slightly different finish on that one. So they're not doing the varnish on it. It'll have the rounded beveled edges. Still the 515, which is a Sitka spruce top, bound top, and bound neck, and with slight fretboard extension.
Yeah. with a short neck and unbound on the back. Again, this is a maple back inside. This is a little bit more of their figured stuff. Kind of designed to be closer to the the F5G as far as the appointments.
Yep.
Obviously, a little bit different mandolin, but gives you a little bit better quality maple back insides. Definitely gives you that advantage in tone and a hard shell case. One thing that I noticed on this with the new varnish, and I haven't seen before, that has Ivoroid buttons on it.
It does. I hadn't noticed that either.
See, I just noticed that just now. And again, that makes more sense with the aesthetic of the vintage varnish mandolins. There definitely is a warmth. Go ahead and chop that mandolin. You'll kind of hear
a little fullness to it.
I would say the 515, the normal 515 with the gloss finish, is a little bit more brighter, a little bit more attack on it. This has a little bit more subdued and warm tone to it. Would you agree with that assessment?
I do.
Or
yeah, I think
tell a different version.
I've kind of
of
leaned a little bit. I don't know if it leaned. I guess I've kind of gained an appreciation for varnished instruments. They just have a more open fullness to them, especially right out the gate. You know, this thing's a week old and it's really already got that big bark to it.
So I think the 515 varnish has become one of our top sellers. Usually when the 515s come in, they sell extremely well. The varnishes almost disappear immediately. And there's a good reason behind it.
We still got people that, and I understand, I'm not judging at all. Some people do not want an instrument that looks played by somebody else. They want, if I'm going to have nicks in it, I want to put them in myself. Which that's to each their own.
Totally fair. Totally
and
fair.
It is a valid opinion. If I were you, I'd feel the same way. I read that in How to Win Friends and Influence People. Because if I were them, I would feel that way, so that's a good way to end that argument. But, yeah, I kind of like it. I think they did a classy version of it. Yep. If you're going to get those scratches anyway, you might as well have them there and you're not worried about it now.
There you go. I like that. So a good alternative to the standard 515. It is not much more, but definitely gives you a variance in tone, a little bit more of that open, woody type of mandolin tone that a lot of people are looking for.
And with the Eastman, still has the radius fretboard on it with slightly larger frets, fret wire, which are things that I like on a mandolin. They do a great job of hand shaping the bridges, so they match the top really well, ebony bridge. The cast tailpiece on it. Like I said, the 515, you jump up to a hard shell case. The 415, I guess, would be the first model that goes to a hard shell.
Correct.
So that's your
big, the upgraded tuners.
Yeah, upgraded tuners. And then the bound top, obviously, is more aesthetic, but it still, like I said, kind of matches that 515 or the F5G appointments. Sure. So big fan of this mandolin. I think if you're into the antiqued instrument, it's a really good option for a great price point and plays easy setups great on all these. And I guess I'll give them a good tone sample of it right now.
Let's do that.
And we really appreciate you guys watching that video. It was my favorite one we've made so far. We've done hundreds of videos, and that was the best one.
It was.
And the next one's going to be even better. If you'd like to see that, be sure you subscribe to this channel. And also, the more you comment and interact below, the more the YouTube algorithms pick it up and start pushing it out to other people, like-minded people.
Algorithms?
Algorithms, they're everywhere. They permeate the internet, and YouTube's got one. And it watches our videos, and it sees how much you comment, and then it pushes us to other people like you. And we want everyone to experience the Acoustic Shop world, where we talk about instruments, we do reviews, we got some fun videos coming up. We thank you guys so much for being a part of it, and we'll see you in the next video.